Today I will talk about external quality assessment or assurance for quantitative tests. Quantitative test results are obtained from biochemistry and hematology section of a clinical laboratory. First I'll talk about external quality assurance process. EQA allows a laboratory to identify that its results are consistent with those of other laboratories using same or similar method for analyte estimation. EQA provider circulate a set of specimen among a group of laboratories. Each lab include the EQA sample with patient samples in usual assay process. Each reported result are compared to the mean result from all laboratories using the same method, and this is known as peer group of laboratories. The report also include the standard deviation for the peer group. The main purpose of EQUAS is to ensure reliable performance by individual laboratories and to achieve harmonization between labs. There are other complementary functions of external quality assurance scheme. It includes collecting information on the reliability of particular methods, material, or equipment, providing information on performance required for the purpose of licensing or accreditation of a clinical laboratory, identifying labs whose performance provide a benchmark standard. So these are some of the complementary functions. Now I'll talk about the analysis of EQA results. First, I'll talk about deviation index. Deviation index from the results obtained by the participants, the median or mean and standard deviation are calculated. An individual laboratory can then compare its performance in the survey with that of other laboratories and with its own performance from the deviation index. It is also known as standard deviation index or Z score. Actually, Z score is used for internal quality assessment, internal quality control, whereas standard deviation index is used for external quality assurance data analysis. So deviation index or standard deviation index is equal to the difference between the result of a laboratory minus adjusted mean or median divided by trimmed standard deviation. When results have a Gaussian distribution, the mean and standard deviation are adjusted in a preliminary calculation by excluding all the results in the highest and lowest 5%. So we take central 90% of the data. When the result distribution is non-Gaussian, median should be used rather than mean. In this case, standard deviation is calculated as follows. How do we interpret the result of deviation index? When deviation index is less than zero point 0.5, it means excellent performance. Between zero point 0.5 and 1, satisfactory performance. Between 1 and 2, acceptable performance. More than 2 is unsatisfactory and suggests that analyzer calibration should be checked. And deviation index more than 3 indicate a serious defect. How we use the results of deviation index on consecutive monitoring. It is essential to monitor EQA results in consecutive surveys, noting any fluctuation in deviation index over a period of time. A convenient way for quantifying this is to add 6 recent deviation index scores. While adding any value more than 3.5 is rounded down to 3.5. Then the total is multiplied by 6. Failure to submit result in a survey suffers a penalty of 50. So of the total, a score of 100 or more indicate persistent unsatisfactory performance. Now I'll talk about outwith consensus method. It is refinement uh, of the standard deviation index for non-Gaussian procedures. So data which is not normally distributed, we can use outwith consensus method. It is used in UK NEQS for blood coagulation. The median is calculated and all the participant results are then ranked in 5 grade as follows. So 25% of all results that are immediately adjacent to and above the median and 25% that are immediately adjacent to and below the median. So central 50% of data is included. Uh, those participants are included in group A. Then next 10% on either side of group A is group B and similarly group C, D and E. So this is how the results are ranked. The performance in any particular test is assessed from the grade obtained in two consecutive exercises. Unsatisfactory performance is designated as when the combined result in two consecutive exercises is DD or EC or ED or EE. Now I'll talk about target value and bias. This is specially used while doing inter-laboratory comparison. The true value for a test can usually be assumed to be the result obtained by best performance of selected participants in the survey or by expert using reference methods or total participant consensus after trimming. This is the target value to be aimed. The percentage bias by an individual participant result can be calculated as result minus target value divided by target value multiplied by 100. So this is how we calculate the bias. The pattern of bias in successive surveys indicate whether there is constant calibration error or a progressive fault or whether the original defect has been corrected. Now I'll talk about Jordan plot. A Jordan plot is a graphical data analysis technique for carrying out an inter-lab comparison where each lab has made two runs on the same product or one run on two different products. The Jordan plot answers the question, are the labs in the study all behaving as if from the same population? So Jordan plot consists of vertical axis data from run 1 and horizontal axis data from run 2. Each laboratory, the two paired results from each laboratory represented in the form of dots and a diagonal 45-degree line is drawn. The plot symbol is the lab ID, typically an integer from 1 to k, where k is the number of labs. Sometimes a 45-degree reference line is drawn, as I have shown you. Ideally, a lab generating two runs of the same product should produce reasonably similar results. Departure from this reference line indicate inconsistency from the lab. If two different products are being tested, then a 45-degree line may not be appropriate. However, if the labs are consistent, the point should lie near some fitted straight line. In the ideal case, all labs from same population, the Jordan plot will have a structureless random shotgun pattern. Any structured deviation from this shotgun pattern suggests one or another lab is different from the rest. The advantage of Jordan plot is twofold. Between lab differences are easy to detect. Shift along diagonal for a given lab. Within lab differences are easy to detect. There will be displacement drawn with a fixed size and with the base. Now I'll talk about how to troubleshoot the EQUAS failure. So what are the causes for EQUAS failure? So common causes of EQUAS failure are technical problem with the method, incorrect procedure, problem with the control material, incorrect handling of the control specimen, incorrect reporting of control results. So technical problem with the method include calibration problem, inadequate maintenance causing increased imprecision, deterioration of reagents, deterioration of other components, inadequate environmental control in the laboratory. Incorrect procedure include incorrect dilution process, incorrect calculation of results, specimen allowed to evaporate. Problem with the control material include analyte not stable in control material, interfering substance in control material, specimen mishandled during transport to laboratory. Incorrect handling of the control specimen include incorrect reconstitution, incorrect mixing, incorrect storage condition. Incorrect reporting of control result include failure to convert measurement units to those required for the control report, transcription error in report form. So this is all for today. Thank you very much.